Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa and I am that doll collector. Thank you so much for stopping by today to watch my video. I am so glad that each and every one of you are here with me today. Well, it's Wednesday. We made it to another Wednesday. And you know what that means. Yes, it's Peeka Wednesday. And I took last week off. I did not do Peeka Wednesday. I was busy doing other things. Didn't do too many videos last week, but we're back at it this week. And Peeka Wednesday this week is hosted, well, it's hosted actually by 3 channels. It's hosted by Tami at Tater Tots Reborn Nursery, Bonnie at the Pretty Poppets, and Kris at Tiny Heart Reborns. And Tami was the one that picked the theme for this week, and she said to show your peekas with anything that is crocheted. So this Peeka Wednesday video is going to be all about crocheted items. Yes, and crocheted things is something that I really enjoy. I learned how to crochet first from my mother when I was quite young when she showed me how to crochet. I started crocheting with just a chain. We did just a plain chain, and then from there she taught me how to do a single stitch and then the double stitch, and that's pretty much how I learned how to make a lot of the things. And then I remember the very first thing that I ever learned how to make was a scarf. One year for winter, I had this snowsuit that was teal and pink and white. And I didn't have, any accessories really to match it. So Mom suggested that I could crochet a scarf to go with it. So I did. I crocheted the same colors that were in my snowsuit in the scarf, and it turned out pretty cute. And I wore that all winter. And then from there, she showed me how to crochet booties. And then as I got older, I was interested in following patterns. And I did not know how to do that. And I met a young lady that became my very close friend and still is. She's actually more like a sister to me today. Her name is Jennifer. I love her so much. I work with this lady, this girl, my best buddy in the world. Anyway, her mother knew how to follow a pattern, and so it was her mother that showed me how to then follow a pattern. And she did it in kind of an interesting way, a way I would have never thought. But what she did was she took a pattern that I wanted to learn how to crochet. I remember it was a Afghan that had bunnies on it, and I was going to crochet it for my niece. My niece was just born, and I wanted to crochet her something. So she actually took a blank cassette tape and took the pattern, and she read the pattern and then further explained exactly what I needed to do on the tape. And so all I did when I got the tape, then I got it home and I listened to it, and I was able to just whip out that Afghan pattern. It was really easy, and then from then on I kind of picked up on how to follow a pattern. So I don't know, those of you that aren't interested in crocheting probably found that all boring, what I just said there, but it did help me. It worked, and I learned how. And of course now today you have all kinds of YouTube videos and things that you can learn, but back then there wasn't those kinds of things readily available. So anyway, let's get into showing you some of my crocheted items that I have. We are in my dolly room, and in front of you, you can see my 2 peekas, Honeybee and Buttercup, and they are both wearing crocheted items on their feet. Little Honeybee has a variegated yarn pair of booties. They are pink and green and yellow variegated yarn that I crocheted these for her. Well, not for her, for my babies. And then Buttercup has a little pair of, they're actually little tennis shoes that I crocheted, and followed the pattern. These are really cute. Very time consuming these were, but they turned out really cute, I thought. I was really happy how they turned out. I've had them for quite a few years now. And then, of course, I think you guys have seen my chickens. I crocheted these a couple years ago. I crocheted 3 of them. There's one, and this is Henrietta, the white chicken, and then little Casey here, little crabby Casey, has the other one sitting on her head. Yeah, so that's for the peekas there. Now moving on, we have little Diamond over here. He is wrapped in a blanket that my mother crocheted with my favorite colors, blue and yellow. There's another item. And little Anna, she was in a video yesterday featuring strawberry shortcake. And as I was going through my items, I forgot that I had a crocheted version of strawberry shortcake. My grandmother actually crocheted this little doll. She's got a plastic face and plastic hands. But the only thing different with this strawberry shortcake, have you noticed, is she's got white hair. I don't think my grandmother realized that strawberry shortcake does not have white hair. She has like a reddish orange, but that's okay. She's cute anyway. I really like her. I've had her for several years. She's even got little strawberries crocheted on the top of her hat. She's a cute little doll. And then, let's see, then I'm going to take you, let's see, we'll go this way. We'll go down here. We've got little Macaulay down here sitting in his little seat, and he is looking at a little crocheted duck that I crocheted. It's still kind of in its little shell. I thought it was really cute. I found this pattern online and crocheted that one year. Then you have little Anthony John playing with his crocheted ball. My mom crocheted this also. She crocheted a couple different sizes, and this is one of them. It's just different like octagons, and then you kind of like whip stitched with a needle. Whip stitched them all together and stuff them with polyfill, and you have a nice little soft ball or a pillow. You could use it for a pillow. Put it on your bed. Little Anthony is having a lot of fun with it. Then back here you have little Pure holding another crocheted item that my grandmother made. This is a clown. I've had this for many, many years, this clown. Actually, there's 2. I think one was for my brother and one was for myself. And my grandmother, my mom's mom, she had a chair in her living room all the time that she was alive. It was a very old like swivel chair, and it had that scratchy material on it, the high arms. Maybe some of you guys remember that type of furniture. And always on that chair, you could never sit on that chair because she always had all of her crocheted items sitting on that chair. And you know, she would have little things like this, these clowns. And one that I always remember is she did a red squirrel. And I remember that was one that my brother always liked, and he was always trying to kidnap it. And hey, grandma didn't want him to have it. She would make him put it back on the chair. But yeah, so that's one of the things I always remember about going to grandmother's house is all her crocheted items. So yeah, so this is one of them. Another thing, it just brings to my mind now, I don't know, do you guys remember or did you ever have as a child, they used to have patterns for turtles, and they were big, and you could like sit on them. They were like a pillow. They were kind of, I think they used the granny square pattern, and then you crocheted like a neck and a head and feet and a tail off of it. But the granny square pattern was like the top of the shell. And as a kid, you could sit on them and like hold on to the head. And I remember we had 2, and Mom always tucked them underneath the end tables on each side of the couch. And my brother and I, we would always like to pull them out and sit on them and pretend that we were riding them, you know, things that kids do when they're younger, but I think eventually they got holes in them and Mom ended up throwing them out. But I should look and see if I can find that pattern. That would be really fun to make those. But anyway, so yeah, so there's little Pier with his clown. So now I'll take you over to the other side of the room and show you what's over there. Okay, here's a sample of something that my mom learned to make. This is a bag actually, and it's made out of, it's crocheted, but it's made out of plastic bags, plastic grocery bags, and you cut them bags in strips. And then what she did, she came up with this idea herself, is she put this type of stringy yarn in with each strip, and when you crochet it, makes this really pretty bag. And yeah, everybody always admired these, and I think at one point she did sell a few of them. She would make them in all different sizes and people would buy them from her, but I always thought this was really cool. Everybody always wanted this one, and she would never give this one up. And then of course when she passed, I ended up snatching it up. It's so pretty. Sitting inside is Mr. Wrinkles. He's having a good time sitting inside the bag. So scanning up over here, this is little Mabel, and Mabel is holding another sample of something that my grandmother crocheted. She had these kinds of dolls sitting on her chair also, along with the clown ones, and these were popular at one point. They have just a plastic face and plastic hands, and then you just crochet the rest of her body and stuff it with polyfill. And this one is so cute. She can suck her thumb, or you can pull her thumb out of her mouth and she can drink her bottle. And she's really, these are kind of fun. There's all different versions of these. So you can pull her thumb out, and then she can drink her bottle. Yeah. So that's Mabel's little dolly that she's holding there. So cute. And then over here, this is my pickle replica. Her name is Cora Jean, and she's cuddling a little crocheted duck that I made. I used to make these for baby gifts, and this is one that I kept. It again has that same fuzzy yarn like my mom made that bag out of. And actually the hat is knitted. It's not crocheted. That is knitted, but that's different. Crocheted is with hooks, and knitting is you use needles more. So there is a little bit of a difference. Both use a yarn, but it's a different method. I never learned to knit. I use like a knitting, I don't knit by hand. I have one of those, it's like a rack, and then you wrap the yarn around it and pull it through. That's the only kind of knitting that I do. So yeah, so there's the duck. That's another sample of one. And so hold on one second, and I have something. We'll go into the living room. There's one more item out there. Okay, so out here today I have little Evie. She's sleeping so soundly in the little bouncer chair today, holding her lovey. And she is laying on a little afghan, a little baby afghan that I crocheted. And you probably have seen this before in some of the other videos that I've done. This is called the popcorn pattern, is what they call this afghan. And I always thought it was so pretty. It turned out really pretty with this variegated yarn of pink and green and blue. And I always thought that it mimicked those dinner mints that you used to get. A lot of times they would mix the dinner mints with the peanuts. You know, they always had them at like weddings or baby showers. So that's what it reminds me of. And so anyway, yeah, so there she is, little Miss Evie. Okay, and that is it for Peeka Wednesday. I had a lot to share and a lot to tell, and I hope that you enjoyed everything, this video did not go on too long, although it's about 15 minutes already, but I have so many crocheted items. I probably could spend an hour or more showing you everything that I have. I just picked out a few and some of them, the more special ones that I remember. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Please don't forget to go over to the other channels and see what they're doing for Peeka Wednesday today. And all of us here in my Dolly nursery, especially Honeybee and Buttercup, we thank you so much for stopping by, and we love and care for you. And thank you for helping to make our day a very happy Dolly day. Remember that happiness is a choice. We hope that you all are having a happy one as well. We will see you in the next video, everyone. We love you. Have a fabulous day. See you later. Bye-bye for now.